I want to share a channeled message that I've been receiving from Mother God to all of the mothers who are estranged from their children. This subject is really close to me because I didn't have a mom growing up. My mom was mentally ill and she left when I was 4. And so I spent my whole life really wishing that I could have a mother. And I really, really wanted a mom. I was so hungry for the connection to a mother. And trying not to be too emotional here. So, my dad also taught me to visit elderly homes, old folks' homes, and he really emphasized how many people were in there whose children had left them behind. So as a young child, I was already very acutely aware of the suffering of parents whose children just neglect and abandon them. And so I used to go every single weekend, and I used to visit at the retirement homes and read books with these people and try to bond with them. And I'm so grateful to my dad to help me become so conscious of such a very painful and very tragic issue. I never thought in my life that even my own child, I'm not really estranged from, but she has her own life and she is married, and I can say that I'm grateful that she is still in my life, and I do sometimes see her. But just knowing how it feels even to not have her as close to me as I would have wanted, I can absolutely empathize with the pain that a lot of people are going through with their children. And I also spent 10 years in a deathbed and didn't really get visited very often by my own child. So I got to taste the bitterness and the pain that comes from being a parent and giving your whole to these children, and then realizing that they're not all the time going to be there for you the way that you were for them. But more tragically, there are countless numbers of parents in TikTok community and in Facebook and in the world who are absolutely being tortured by their adult children, who are taking their grandchildren away, basically abusing them emotionally and robbing them of their own family that they gave life to. And I'm not going to go too deep in the whole esoteric side of this, but there is a deep, dark, esoteric side of what's going on there that is really hard to talk about too, so I'm going to save that for another time. But I do want to share a message from Mother God to the TikTok community and to anybody that sees this video, because I do talk to Mother God often. I went through a spiritual awakening, and I began to hear her whisper to me through the trees and through the flowers and in the forest, and I can communicate with her regularly now, just as I do when I connect to angels and to Pleiades and to other beings. I also connect to Mother God. If it wasn't for Mother God, I don't know how I could have gotten through my own issues with my own sickness, my own, loneliness, the things that I went through, even as a twin flame, because twin flames go through a lot of time where we're by ourselves and we have to work things out spiritually, energetically. And if it weren't for Mother God, I couldn't have made it through where I'm at today. It was her, and it was her strength, and it was her endless compassion and love for all souls on earth that got me through. And she also got me through a lot of stuff that I went through with my child that I'm still going through. My child's in her 30s. And I go through a lot of empty nest stuff, which I've been going through for a long, long time, even as a star seed and all these other things. I'm still human too. And I go through some of these human experiences also. But I really want to share this message for the people who are going through this cruel, vicious, emotional assault to the divine heart that you have in you as mothers. Nobody's perfect. No parent is perfect. No child is perfect. No human on earth is perfect. There's no such thing. And as parents, you know all the mistakes you made. You know where you made mistakes. We all do. It's nobody gives us a handbook on how to raise children. But I know from an enlightened perspective that humans don't have a right to judge each other. And that means that even these children, they don't really have a right to judge you. They want to stay in their pain. They want to be in narcissism. They want to be justified as a victim. It's really a spiritual archetype that they're going through. And you should understand that. It's a spiritual archetype, and some of them don't get out of it in this lifetime. I have clients that are 70 years old that are still angry at their deceased parents because they're not willing to grow. But I do want to tell you that one of the things that Mother God shared with me is that as a mother, you have a contract, a spiritual contract with these children, but not just with the children, with God and with Mother God. And so Mother God, it's a long story if you understand that she descended from the heavens and left her beloved to come onto the earth in order to hold all of her children so that she could ensure that they were all going to return back to the heavens again. And so Mother God came and descended into this earth plane, and she is what is the Sophia matrix. She is wrapped around everything that is life. She's here and she's alive in all things. And your contract as a mother was also with her in order to help her hold the weight and the burden of those children descending from heaven onto the earth plane, so that we can again help to lift them as they continue to rise through our hearts. So as a mother's heart, even though you're aching so much because these children aren't returning to your heart at this time, the truth is that in time they will. Love always finds its way. But the truth is that what Mother God's telling me is that you're helping her to carry the weight of the entirety of holding on to humanity as we continue to go through the ascension process and rise back into the higher template. And so this is a process and a painful one, albeit a painful one. But she reminds you that she too has ached so much for her children on earth, for all of her children in all of the galaxies really, and how as they descended and left the heavens and came and fell into darkness, she followed in order to help support and carry them. And so it's a beautiful story in the bigger picture of things from a spiritual perspective, because at the end of the day, those children somewhere in space and time, whether it be in this lifetime or in another, they will be restored in love with you in your heart, and your heart will heal, whether it's this life or another, it will heal. But part of what's happening with your journey is that you're also helping hold them on an energetic level in your heart while they go through their own growth. Even if you're an enlightened or awakened soul at this time, you're going to carry some of this burden for them because they're not ready yet to grow. And so you have to hold that space, and holding space can be so painful sometimes when you love somebody so much and they don't know how to love in return. And yet this is part of the spiritual work that's being done. Now I do want to just add that there are some really toxic quote-unquote spiritual teachers out there that are spreading extraordinarily damaging cult-like teachings into the spiritual community to mislead people into thinking that it's cool to cut off their parents and those kinds of things. And although there are times where healthy boundaries can be necessary, but this type of teaching is also affecting humanity in a very negative way. And it's a downward spiral that we'll be in until everybody decides to really heal and grow up on a soul level. So mothers, just know that you're helping too, Mother God, because you're carrying some of the burden for her too. I hope that helped. Everything's going to be well at some day, okay? Namaste.